Lawmakers in California want even more regulations when it comes to the porn industry to protect people, porn actresses and actors to be specific, from the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. Now, if you can remember, a few years ago, there was a ballot initiative in California that did pass that forces all porn production in the state of California to use condoms while filming. Now, Nevada is actually considering similar legislation. But what's interesting is the policies in California apparently don't go far enough because lawmakers are now considering something that sounds a little ridiculous, to be honest with you. Now, there is a 21-page draft proposal by the state's Division of Occupational Safety and Health, and it calls for condoms and other barriers, including protective eye gear, to be used in sex scenes, and also requires producers to pay for medical visits and hepatitis B vaccines for adult film performers. Okay, so the last part I don't think is out of control. I think that it makes sense for these huge production companies to look out for their porn actors and actresses, okay? However, protective eye gear, you want them to wear goggles while they're having sex? Like, wait, money shot, hold on, put the goggles on so I can jizz on your face.
All right, now this is madness. Okay, when people talk about overregulation, I think this is what they're referring to. Okay, so we're not going to have goggles in porn. Just not going to do it unless that's what you're into. Like unless there's Bunsen burners in the back and that's your thing, right? Okay.
I can totally see people being into that, by the way.
Right, and there is a category of porn on her glasses.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay, glasses porn or whatever.
Do
right?
you, booze?
Okay, I mean, yeah, God bless, go forward, right? But we're not going to come in there in white jackets.
No. Can you imagine? They're wearing like the Ebola nurse outfits.
Yeah,
like they're just covered head to toe.
Oh, you are so hot.
Yeah.
Oh, come here.
Yeah, but how am I supposed to have intercourse? Just do some grinding, right? Some dry humping.
In some of the Japanese porn, they could use goggles. But anyway, outside of that, no, this is crazy. Then you can't, then you're just basically you're outlawing porn in your state. Just realize what you're doing because that's the reality. Now, they passed some sensible regulation that you could argue with and that we did argue with on the issue of condoms, and that either drove people out of the state or they just ignored it, right? But, you know, the reason we argued with it is not because we don't want them to be safe. We do. We want them to be incredibly safe. But if there's a certain market need, and if that market need is not met here in California, it's going to be met somewhere else, right? And so, of course, there are bounds of reason to that. You can say, hey, there's a market need for child porn. Well, no, we can't have that.
Right, you got to protect, you know, the defenseless.
Right. But when consenting adults make porn about consenting adults and they choose not to use a condom in that, and most people prefer to watch that kind of porn, I think that's the reality that we live in. Now, I'm in favor of reasonable regulation, so I would say, hey, let's test those actors.
Yep.
You want to make sure that the porn producer is paying for those tests rather than the taxpayers of California. I'm totally with you, right? So reasonable regulation to make sure people are safe. But I believe goggles is a little over the line.